everyone. I'm going to talk about how to study being less stressed out. Before we start, I want to ask you a question. Do you think that human species love to learn? Let's think about whether you have a tendency to study or whether you have studied hard by the social pressure. In many cases, I suppose it'll belong to the latter. However, if you accept studying as your destiny since you enrolled to Seoul National University, it would be better to think about how to study more efficiently than whether you should study. Since studying is conducted by the brain, let's learn how to study smarter, easier, and more comfortably through how to use your brain well. My presentation is going to be in 3 parts. First, prioritizing work. Secondly, exercising. Third, sleeping and electronic devices. Let's prioritize tasks in order of importance and urgency. For example, the first task is to write very important and urgent tasks such as tomorrow's final exam. The second task is important but less urgent such as exams in a month. And the third task is not important or urgent as watching YouTube. When you set the priority of your work and fill in the study plan like this, you can practice it without delaying your work if you have time to work for a second thing on the principle of 2-1-4-3. If you have time to do the second thing and practice it steadily, the brain creates a network, and then you don't rush to do the first thing, which is urgent and important, and the completeness of what you're trying to do increases. Exercise increases learning efficiency by causing biological changes. Exercise stimulates brain cells and promotes connection between brain cells, allowing neurons to form networks. Especially aerobic exercise improves the ability to cope with external situations and restore the balance of the brain, activating the overall brain in a state suitable for studying. It is said that intense exercise, which maintains 80 to 90% of the maximum heart rate, and very high intensity exercise, which is breathtaking on the treadmill, are the most effective in activating the brain. If you're stressed out or your brain shrinks through electronic devices, you can exercise and make it grow back. Therefore, exercise is essential, not an option to study. Blue light from electronic devices inhibits melatonin production, so it prevents us from storing a long-term memory and it reduces cognitive efficiency. What happens if you look at your cell phone before you go to bed? If you look at your cell phone before going to bed, your brain will fall asleep 2 hours later. The body sleeps, but the brain does not sleep. Therefore, you should be blocked from all blue lights 2 hours before bedtime. If you look at your cell phone right before you go to sleep, you will study very inefficiently, and you will not be able to save it even if you study hard. So, presumably, studying with paper books rather than e-books and paper rather than iPads is much more effective from a brain perspective. Also, if you use a cell phone to anesthetize your brain, there may be a way to activate your brain by exercising before you study. This is the end of the presentation. Thank you for listening.